morning, I get on my knees. I did learn from the Master, he taught me to pray. I read on from the scriptures, the patience of Job. Keep on your faith and live with hope. Jesus is the Redeemer and friend.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
I've heard them sing, he paid the price and Jesus bore it all. I've heard them sing, I'm coming home, and heed the master's call. I've heard them sing the modern songs and songs of long ago. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. No sweeter song, sweeter song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, washed as white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. It was the song my mother sang in sweet and humble voice, like music from the world above. it made my soul rejoice. Its soothing words and melodies like the rippling waters flow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. Sweetest song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. Amazing grace, so sweet the sound, oh how sweet is the sound. Sweetest song in this life could be found. Heard about the Savior's blood, white as snow. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know. But amazing grace, so sweet the sound, is the sweetest song I know.
The sweetest, most wonderful song I know.
Hello, welcome. My name is Dr. David Chitate. This is part 2 of our presentations on literature evangelism. Yes, it's a continuation. You know what? Literature evangelism has a role to play, and as Ellen G. White observed, it will continue until probation closes. So, given the pandemic that we face today, literature evangelism does not stop. I want to start by giving you a brief on the pandemics. Yes, a little bit of history on pandemics so that at least you understand that this is not the first time the world has faced a pandemic like COVID-19. I've picked a few pandemics that I want to share with you, global, deadliest pandemics in history. Number 1 is the bubonic plague or Justinian's plague. This was experienced between 541 to 750 AD. You know what? This is a long period, 541 to 750, right? That's close to 200 years, one pandemic running. It left between 30 and 50 million people dead, all right? The second one I want to bring to your attention is the Black Death. The Black Death. Between 1347 and 1352, just around 5 years. It killed between 50 to 200 million people who died because of that pandemic. Next, we have the 1918 to 1919 pandemic, the influenza. Yes. And that one, it left more than 50 million, 50 people dead. And more than 500 million, 500 million people infected. Yes. Well, of course, you know that just before 1980, to this day, we have another pandemic that has been running. which is HIV and AIDS. It was classified as a pandemic, which left by 2020, December, left close to 33 million people dead. And with more than 36 million infected alive as of 2020. Those who were infected but alive. More than 36 million globally. Well, of course, 2020 then came to this day, 2021. This is now April 2021. We have coronavirus, the COVID-19. And we know that by April, close to, 3 million people dead. And more than 100. This is around 300 million people infected. And let me tell you, COVID and coronavirus is not the last pandemic. Scientists have already told us that we should be expecting more deadly pandemics coming very soon. By the way, all these pandemics I have just gone through, they have animals associated with them. Yes, including coronavirus. And they are saying, scientists are saying, the next deadliest pandemic is also going to be coming from the wild, from animals. Okay? Frightening. Yes, that's frightening. But you know what? Even though the situation is like this, it does not change God's agenda to evangelize. Yes, we predicted deadlier pandemics to come. Luke chapter 21 verse 11 says, NIV, I quote, "And there will be great earthquakes, and in various places plagues and famines, and there will be terrors and great signs of heaven." Yes, so we know that these things will happen. Not one, but many. This is Christ himself saying it. In many places, plagues and pandemics and famines and earthquakes. Ellen G. White, in Great Controversy, has something to say. I shudder when I read these quotations. Ellen G. White, I quote, page 589, Great Controversy. "Satan works through the elements also to garner the harvest of unprepared souls. He has studied the secrets of the laboratories of nature, and he uses all his power to control the elements as far as God allows." End of quotation. That's from page 589. The devil works through these elements to kill people. This is harvesting of unprepared souls. People who are just killed before they receive Christ. He says he is harvesting. And he is doing it through secrets of laboratories of nature. He does it through animals, through plants. He is doing it. He has mastered. He has studied the secrets of the laboratories of nature. And he will bring about all these pandemics. Now listen. Next quotation, page 590. Ellen G. White says, again I quote, "Satan will bring disease and disorder until populous cities are reduced to ruin and dissolution. He imparts to the air a deadly taint, and thousands perish by pestilence. These visitations are to become more and more frequent and disastrous." End of quotation. Did you hear that? It says he will just impart to the air a deadly taint. Think of COVID-19. airborne. Yes. You have to use a mask. Social distance. Ventilation. All these things. It's airborne, ladies and gentlemen. Says the devil will just impart to the air a deadly taint, and thousands perish by pestilence. And the most scaring statement is these visitations are to become more and more frequent and more disastrous. When the scientists tell us that we are going to have more pandemics coming from, and more deadly coming from wild animals, I believe it. I invite you to believe it. Never think that coronavirus, then the world will overcome it and then it's going to be peace at last. No. It's just the beginning of more problems. So what do? Don't relax and say, oh yeah, but you know, there's going to be vaccine and then there's going to be this and that. Most of us are living in dreamland. Yes, living in dreamland. Let me emphasize that. We are living in dreamland. I am not scaring you. But I just want to remind you that we have a heavenly home to look forward to. This world will become more and more inhabitable. More and more problems should be coming our way. That is in fulfillment of prophecy. The Bible has spoken. Just this April, few weeks ago, I was listening to a report being given, scientific report, assessing vaccines and their impact. I couldn't believe my ears when I learned that, yes, vaccines are there, but there are more deadly strains of the virus coming up. And if they come up in one country, they will spread to many countries. I was scared. I know it now. When the vaccines were developed, there was so much excitement. But it wasn't long before even some countries returned vaccines that they had bought, donated them, because those vaccines were not effective against the most common strain of the virus in their country. Yes. So the scientists are telling us that yes, the current today's vaccines, unless we quickly vaccinate people, there is danger of other strains coming of the virus, and render the current vaccines not effective against those strains. Yes, some of these things, there's no technological solution. The doctors are telling us, continue to mask, continue to keep social distance, continue to sanitize, continue to do these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you right now that in the midst of all these things, the literature evangelism will continue. I believe in the spirit of prophet says it will continue until probation is closed. Yes, preaching to large audiences may stop, may discontinue. By the way, some of you know it very well. Things have changed. We used to have evangelistic efforts. I am one of those. For 2 years, I was a member of the Zambezi Union Literature Evangelistic Team. We were a team moving from town to town. I was a member of that team. I was not the preacher, but we were the ones who were supporting the preacher. We had full-time preachers pitching up tents in cities and preaching every night. And I know your church has done that as well. You have attended these mass literature evangelism efforts. Literature distribution. We used to go as a church. Today it's literature distribution. Come to in the some afternoon Sabbath and let's go and distribute literature. We used to do hospital visitations, prison ministries, house visits, VOP, Voice of Prophecy assisted studies, camp meetings. I can go on, the list goes on and on. Let me tell you, COVID came and put an end to these kind of platforms. And I know you, as a church last year, 2020, you attended for the first time in your history, in your life, a virtual camp meeting. In your house, sitting on your couch, looking at your phone or your TV, and you were attending a camp meeting. That's just the beginning. That's the direction we are going. This world is going. So camp meetings will not stop. And I know last year we did not take advantage of this opportunity, but did you know that we could have trebled, quadrupled the attendance at camp meetings if we had promoted virtual camp meetings? Because many more people who may not be able to go with us to the physical camp meeting would have attended. So camp meetings can continue. Hospital visitation can continue, but not virtually. You send a card on the phone. House visitations will continue. No, not physically. But we can still send our neighbors a message in the morning. An inspirational message. Yes, we can. If they have a patient, we can send an encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing, no pandemic is going to stop literature evangelism. And right now, the Lord has given us a vehicle to reach everybody. There are some homes there where we would not have reached. Distance would have not taken us somewhere. But let me tell you, through social media, these platforms, we are now able to reach almost everywhere where we want to. And everyone. Let me tell you, the people have shifted. People have shifted. Where do you find people today? They are now on social media. Let me give you an idea. Just a glimpse of this social media thing. Globally, the time spent on internet in 2020, globally, when you take the average, everybody on the globe, remember how many are we? 7.8 billion people. We are close to 8 billion. We are 7.8 billion people in the world. If you look, they took the 16 to 64-year-olds and divided the amount of time spent on the internet, and they discovered that each person between 16 to 64 years old spent something like 6 hours 43 minutes on internet per day. Did you hear what I said? Per day. And the statistics are very interesting, because for South Africa, you have these statistics by every country, but then they take South Africa, and South Africa, of course, we would say Zimbabwe, Zambia, they all fall around South Africa. If you look at the South African statistics, we are within that. For South Africa, it was 9 hours 22 minutes per person. Every individual 16 to 64 years spent something like 9 hours 22 minutes on internet in 2020. On internet. They are just there on internet, on YouTube, on this, on this. That's where they are spending their time. There is no excuse. So you don't say, I can't find people. You find them. They have migrated to the internet. They are just there waiting for you, waiting for us to bring literature. As literature evangelists, we just have to change the way we do business. We need to shift. Realize that, hey, people are now on social media, not in their homes. Let me tell you, for US, it was 6 hours, 42 minutes. What am I trying to say? I'm not trying to say, for Africa, we have greater opportunities to reach people on social media because they are spending 9 hours. Those in America might find it difficult because they are only spending 6 hours. For Japan, it's even more difficult because Japanese spend only 4 hours, which means they are, by the way, the least, they are busy with other things. They don't want to spend their time on internet. You know, but we are in Africa. We need to minister. This is an opportunity for us. Let me tell you, did you know that just in 2020, if you take all the time that people spend on internet in 2020, they spend online in 2020, globally, they crunched the numbers. 2020 people, the globe spent 1.25 billion years on internet. In 1 year, the world spent 1.25 billion years on internet. Do you know that has so much significance for evangelism? Because my next question is, of that 1.25 billion years, how much did we contribute to evangelism? If we were to break it further, how many years did we contribute to evangelism? This comes back to you. How much of the time you spend on internet do you spend on evangelism? Reaching out to somebody, sending a card, sending a book, sending a paragraph, uplifting somebody. Or we are spending all this time just enjoying ourselves, doing our own business, forgetting that we have the master's business to carry out. I want to end up by telling you that, you know what? The key social media platforms were ranked in 2020. Facebook, number 1. Followed by YouTube, number 2. Followed by WhatsApp, number 3. Followed by Facebook Messenger, number 4. Followed by WeChat, number 5. Followed by Instagram, number 6. And TikTok, number 7. And Twitter is on number 13. All of you, some of you, you have several of these platforms. Are you using them for evangelism? That's my question. Are you using them to spread literature? When we talk of literature, don't just think of the physical paper. We are also talking about, yes, the soft copies of things. I want to give a challenge as I close to the literature evangelistic committee and also to the evangelistic committee of our church. Do we have a library where members can pick messages and we can pick literature and spread it? Don't just sit. Don't just think of physical literature. Get it. It's there. The General Conference has this literature. Other sources, you have literature. There are some people who have written very good literature. Some of it is free. Collect all this and put it in an online library. And maybe every morning or every week, let's send this literature to all our members and so that they can spread it. You have a challenge. I want to leave you this challenge. Please, I want to leave this challenge to you. It's time we wake up and do God's business. Literature evangelism will continue. We have to think it differently. And I want to challenge you. Join me. I already have started. I spread so much literature nearly every day to my 8,000 members. You have groups. Do you share anything? You have family groups. Do you share anything? Or you're just sitting there. All you do is gossip. Let us use social media and reach out. That's my challenge for you. The gospel will continue, and let us push it through. I want to challenge the church. As you have your service, please, as you have your service every Sabbath, have a virtual audience somewhere. I'm challenging you to do that. Don't just preach, but build a visual audience so that every service that you have, it is broadcast live. Let's do that. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And let's build an audience for our church. Yes. In Jesus' name, I want to pray for you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to invite you. Your work will continue. Literature evangelism will continue. Inspire us to do it. Even using new tools, new platforms to reach out. We will cry out and be heard. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Kudenga kwa kanaka, hakuna matambuto. Jesu ndiye mambo, tichano gara nae. Kudenga kwa kanaka, hakuna matambuto. Jesu ndiye mambo, tichano gara nae. Kudenga kumusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never ke ziso harisatira ona zeve harisatianzwa Ijo Krista gadzirira vanotenda vake ziso harisatira ona zeve harisatianzwa Ijo Krista gadzirira vanotenda vake kudenga umusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never ke hama tende ukanasi Jesu achiri kudana mukana uchiri ponasi wekuno gara nae hama tende ukanasi Jesu achiri kudana mukana uchiri ponasi wekuno gara nae kudenga umusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never ke kudenga umusha wa baba mufaro chete chete never ke never
Greetings, Harare City Center Church, and welcome back to another mental health program. In our last program, we were focusing on depression. And with me, Dr. Mwaja is still here. Welcome once again, Dr. Mwaja.
Thank you, Amanda.
I think I say welcome back. So thank you very much for joining us last time. We had quite a lot of positive feedback. And before we get into what we want to talk about today, I just wanted us to do a few follow-up questions on some of the issues that were raised. So to begin with, someone asked if we could talk more about the treatment of depression. I know we spoke about therapy, and so their specific question was coming in terms of antidepressants. So they were asking if those ones work, can they really treat depression? That's the first part of their question. And the second part of their question is there a possibility that one can become addicted to them? And then the final part is, are there any side effects to these antidepressants? It's a very loaded question.
Yeah, it's a loaded questions. Yeah, but I remember last time when we spoke, we mentioned antidepressants. That depression is one of those mental disorders whereby we have the well-established antidepressants, which can really treat depression. Yes, and we have different classes actually of antidepressants. And they do work, because remember I said that depression is about some chemical changes in the brain. So these antidepressants are going to be balancing those chemical chemical imbalances in the brain, the neurotransmitters. And they do work. And I say that actually we are saying if somebody's on antidepressants, so something like high blood pressure, whereby you're going to be on that the rest of your life. Usually we are saying after 12 months of being on antidepressants, what do? We wean you of the antidepressants and hope that you will do well. Though there's a chance of relapsing actually.
Yes, we mentioned
that. Then coming to addiction, I don't know of antidepressants whereby one can get addicted to actually. No, I don't know antidepressants. Yeah, they are different from other medicines, antidepressants, the way they work. But side effects, definitely they put side effects. You see, I don't know how many times when I'm dealing with my clients, you tell them with high blood pressure, can you start you on treatment for high blood pressure? The next question which comes to you is, are there no side effects?
Yes.
You say, no, you have with asthma, can you start you on treatment?
For asthma.
Are there no side effects? Same thing actually in mental health. They say, I think of depression. Can you start on some antidepressants? Do they have any side effects? Then I'm saying, okay, where is the challenge coming from here? We are expecting perfection.
Yes.
In this world, we want things that are perfect. And actually as believers, saying that that's where we have fallen into the trap of going for herbs. Herbs. We think herbs are what? Are perfect. And here people saying they don't have any side effects. But then I'm saying to myself now, what I do with my clients and what I've done with myself is to learn to reframe the context in which I'm living in. What kind of a world are we living in, Amanda? Genesis 3:17, what does God say to not Adam? Because you've listened to the voice of your wife and ate of the fruit I commanded you not to eat of. Cursed
is the ground. And cursed are you and humankind. Yes.
And what does it bring for us? Thorns and thistles.
Yes.
So, to be honest with you, there's nothing you can find in this world that is perfect.
That's true.
And unfortunately, Amanda, again, this is how the devil traps us, When everything was perfect, what does he say to Adam and Eve? You are not perfect. They are made in the image of God. The devil says, you are not perfect. You can do something better about yourself.
Yes.
The earth is now imperfect and because of sin. He said to you, it can be perfect. Are you seeing how he plays around with our minds?
Yes.
It's mental health again.
Interesting.
It's about how he makes us think about things, misrepresenting what God is saying about the reality that's on the ground. So there's nothing that's not having side effects. But the thing is, we are looking at the risk versus benefits.
Yes.
Remember, all drugs, that's why we say you are better off taking some medicine which is not being prescribed because clinical trials were done, okay,
Yes.
and controlled studies were done, and the list of profile side effects was what was stated.
Yes.
The benefits are what?
Are also
Are
stated.
stated. So you're taking something that you know, rather than going for a herb which you don't know what it's the cost choosing.
That's true.
I don't know whether I've answered the question.
Yes, you have. You have. So, are you saying there is no treatment which has no side effects?
Good question. There's one drug that we left that day.
Yes. Please tell us about it.
This drug was prescribed by the Creator Himself in the Garden of Eden. Remember when God, has made Adam and Eve, Genesis chapter 1, in His image, His likeness, He gives them food, verse 29, and this food is there. But very interestingly, Genesis chapter 2, He makes the Garden of Eden. Okay? And then what does He do? Verse 15, takes man, puts him in there
In the garden.
to work on it,
Yes.
to take care of it.
Tend to the garden.
What do you think was God? What was God's plan there?
Well,
What drug was He prescribing?
Exercise.
Exercise. And we as a church were blessed with a powerful health program, New Start program, this exercise, celebration, the exercise,
Yes.
but we underutilize exercise.
Because it's not fun.
Huh?
It's painful. Exercise is not easy. I think exercise, like anything else, takes dedication. It takes discipline. And I think maybe that's what we're running away from, the discipline, the dedication. But like you said, when it comes to cost benefit, the cost is sacrifice, but the benefit is far greater than the cost. Because unless we exercise, we are getting all these things and all these diseases that are piling up on top of us.
Actually, to treat what you're saying, studies have shown when it comes to mental health, let's forget about physical benefits, of exercise, But actually, let me tell you about physical benefits of exercise. Last year, May, I like talking about myself. Our family was going through some conflict because of my father's church, I got caught in the crossfire. The stress I went through was so bad. My blood pressure went up so high. I don't know if I have blood pressure. It went so high. I normally exercise regularly in the mornings.
Okay.
Then I said to myself, I remember Monterey said, now I might as well go on a treatment for high blood pressure because that's what it is. I said, no. Then I said, that's no pill which was prescribed in the Garden of Eden. Why don't you exercise morning and evening? Seriously, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, 1 hour in the morning, and really jogging, everything. I can tell you by the end of that month,
You are feeling better.
my blood pressure was back to normal.
Yes.
That's physical benefits there.
Okay.
Let's come to mental health. Studies have shown that anxiety disorders, depression, stress, and attention deficit hyperactive disorder can be treated through regular exercise.
Wow.
Studies have shown that mild depression, moderate depression can be treated purely by an exercise program with no antidepressant, and you get well.
Wow.
I want to get
Yes.
not only that. Studies have been done and shown that if somebody's jogging maybe say 15 minutes on a daily basis or walking 1 hour, you are preventing yourself, by 26% from getting severe depression.
Okay.
So exercise when it comes to mental, and they've shown that for adult attention deficit hyperactive disorder, just like the tablets which are given like Ritalin, exercise will help the brain to generate those dopamine, norepinephrine, which are needed, improving concentration, well-being, everything. That's exercise.
Okay.
Once they say exercise now, you are not only producing endorphins. When I'm walking where I'm walking, I'm surprised seeing people taking their alcohol, smoking their cannabis. Say, come on, God has made you in a wonderful way. You can produce your own endorphins, happy hormones by just what? Taking a jog.
And walking.
The brain, new cells are being formed as you are exercising, the swelling is being settled down. So exercise, please. Let's promote it again.
Yes.
Let's
that's
go
a
back to
challenge.
celebrations. You started.
Celebration, new start. I think it's just a challenge to all of us. Let's try to exercise more. Not only when it's now time for us to lose weight or because we want to get treatment, but just to make it a lifestyle.
Definitely.
In which we exercise. I'm thinking even in school, we were taught there was PE, or there is PE now.
Yeah.
At break time, we were encouraged to go outside and play and run around.
Definitely.
To keep our blood flowing, to keep our minds sharp. So if you try to think about it, we were healthier when we were in school than we are now, because we spent a lot of time active, more active than what we are now.
Actually, exercise helps you improve your sleep,
Yes.
your memory, your concentration, even your sex drive. It's improved by exercise.
For exercise. Okay. So we have to exercise more. Let's move on. Someone else asked, you spoke about depression and suicide. Is it possible for someone who is depressed to use threats of suicide to manipulate, I beg your pardon, to manipulate their family or their friends to do what they want?
Depression and suicide, I don't see room for manipulation.
Okay.
Because these people, they are really sick. When somebody's by the time somebody gets to think of depression, of suicide, when they're having depression, they are now in severe depression.
Okay.
Suicidal thoughts are not coming out of deliberate move. No, it's a sign of the severity of the depression one is going through.
Okay.
And the studies have shown that most of the people who commit suicide, they don't just do it without having indicated that they're thinking of committing suicide. Some of them, they'll tell you clear that I think I'm going to kill myself. But some of them will say it in a clandestine manner. I wish I could just drift away. I wish tomorrow I would wake up, just not being there.
I wish life could just end.
Yes. This hopelessness, that's not manipulation.
I wish I was never born.
Definitely.
Okay.
So what we decided to recommend is, if somebody with depression is saying those kind of things, it's a serious red flag.
Okay.
Go to a professional who will assess them.
Okay.
People who may use, suicide as a threat, manipulation, are those, with anxiety disorders like conversion syndrome, attention seeking. Those ones, maybe they can use that, Yes, they may use that to try and manipulate people. But depression, once someone's depression is talking of suicide, not being there, as we were saying, I wish I was not born,
Let's take it
seriously.
Yes.
You don't want to live to regret.
Yes, let's not take any chances. Let's just take them seriously.
Definitely.
And then finally, someone said, depression is something that has come about in these millennial times. It's for vana vemaswan.
Okay.
It's not something that maybe in your time or in my parents' time or in our grandparents' time was really there. What's your take on that? Is that true? Has it come about because now we are more of a global economy and it's not more of a global village. We all know what the next person is going through. We are now more connected. Was it there before?
Amanda, being a family therapist, I don't like talking about my clients. I talk about my own life experience.
That's true.
Okay? My own mother ended up with some psychosis from severe depression.
Okay.
My parents got married in 1942. Okay? And 10 years down the line, around 1950, my mother, after delivery, what called postpartum depression.
That's a topic for a whole other
How many years ago is that,
A long time ago.
Which end up with now, you're losing your mind, some psychosis, But anyway, we are Christians. What don't you go to the Word of God, and see? What does it say? Where is Elijah? Every time I'm talking about depression, where is Elijah now? Elijah is now in heaven. Is this so?
Yes.
Hey?
Yes.
You went by the what?
By the Spirit. Yes.
Oh, that's chariot, of
The
fire.
chariot carrying.
Let's see about depression, whether it was there in the old time,
Okay. In 1 Kings 19 verse 3, and when he saw that, he arose and went for his life. Verse 4. 1 Kings 19 verse 4. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers.
What are you picking from that?
He was stressed, he was depressed, he wanted to give up.
Giving up
was
on
tired.
hopelessness, emptiness, worthlessness. This afternoon, Jezebel threatened him, isn't it so? To have him what? To kill him.
Yes.
And he's
been
fleeing.
running. Yes.
This is the point, And thank God for his mercy and grace. He's waking up and this provided bread for him and water for him,
Yes.
And when God speaks to him in verse 10, the same chapter, hear what he says,
In verse 10, he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thine prophets with the sword. And I, even I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
There you are. Depression, not out of fear of loss of his life. So it was there from all the times. It's not about modern times.
It's not millennial.
Yes. Depression has always been there.
Okay.
It's only that unfortunately now during our times, we were not aware of it. It's not that our children now are acting life. No. I can speak of myself actually. I know, at the age of 12, I know what depression is like. I know how I would go down the fields, you cry there, all the symptoms of depression were there. Because there's no mother in my life. You see the point,
Okay.
So it has always been there.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think those are all the follow-up questions that we had. I hope we've answered them correctly. And I think before our time runs out, let's quickly jump into today's topic. Today we're going to be talking about stress. We want to talk about the stress aspect of mental health.
Yes.
So we are done with depression. I hope we are done with depression. I think we've tried to sort it out and to sieve it. Now with stress, what is it? What is stress? And how does it differ from depression?
All right. Stress. I've heard many times people say, my children are stressing me.
Yes.
My work is stressing me. My wife is stressing me. But no, what are we saying about the stress? The man who coined this, it was 1936, 38, 36. He said, it's the body's non-specific response to any demand for change.
Okay.
The body's what? Non-specific response to any demand for change. How your body is responding to the stressor.
Okay.
There's a stress,
And there's a stressor.
which you are feeling, which I'm feeling, that stress I'm feeling. There's the stressor. What the children are doing is a stressor.
Okay.
What the economy is doing in Zimbabwe
Is a
is a
stressor.
stressor.
Okay. What the wife could be doing to the husband is a stressor.
Or what the husband could be
Is due to
doing
the wife.
is a stressor.
Okay.
You see, by now the way you are going to either, I'm using two words, react to it or respond to it is what will determine now whether your body is going to produce stress hormones. Okay? And when it produces those stress hormones now, that's what is now responsible for you having what? Having stress in your body.
Okay. So there's a hormone, which is
Stress hormones now.
Okay.
Cortisol, adrenaline, they are not produced in high levels in response to the way you are what?
To the stressor.
Reacting to the stressor or responding to the what? To the
The
stressor.
stressor.
What do I mean by reacting? Reacting is immediate. It's more driven by emotions, emotional activity. The way you are going to be feeling about what is happening.
Not the stressor.
Responsiveness about what? The way you are thinking about what is happening. And usually you find that, if it's an overwhelming situation, you are producing negative thoughts, negative emotions. which triggers the body to produce what? The
Stress hormones.
It end up not stressed.
Stress. Okay. How does it differ from depression? Is it about the hormone that is released? Is it about the mood swings? What is the difference?
Remember what you said about depression? Depression is about feelings that I'm having of what? Of sadness, which are persistent. I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling hopeless. Not only that, I'm losing interest in the day-to-day activities that I used to enjoy, no pleasure in life. Those are cardinal symptoms of depression. And depression, remember we are saying it's about what? The change in the neurotransmitters, the chemicals in the brain, isn't it so? And the way the brain functions in regulating your mood, it's a mood disorder. Stress, now we are saying it's about what? It's the biology of stress, whereby because you are responding or reacting in a negative way to your stressor, the body now produces stress hormones. To understand what you are saying, what I'm saying is this, no? We are seated here.
Yes.
I hope you're not afraid of snakes. Let me show you something, no? We are seated here comfortably like this.
Okay.
We see a snake coming there.
Okay.
Okay? What happens? Emotion of fear comes, isn't this one? You don't tell the body what to do. It just does
It does it. Yes. You start jumping, you start running. It's automatic.
You are either fighting or what?
Or running away.
Or running away, flying. That's the stress response.
Okay.
Perception of what? Of danger. Perception of threat is what makes you produce the stress hormones. End up with stress now.
Okay. Wow. Okay. What causes it? Okay, fine. We've said the stressor is what causes it.
Yeah.
Is there any other cause of stress?
Stress, remember I say, is your response or reaction to whatever you are facing. And the stress is about how you are perceiving the stress. The moment you start perceiving, uncertainty, start perceiving a threat, you are setting the body into motion to produce stress hormones. Okay. And remember, we are different actually, What may stress you
May not stress the
may not
next person.
stress.
Yes.
This is when we want to be very, very careful about how we is that what can stress you? Or this good stress you, That's what- But we are what? We are different.
Yes.
We have different family of origins, different life experiences when we're growing up in this one. So how our mind is structured so different. Okay. And remember, stress now is different from depression. That stress affects all the systems of the body. Negative physical effects on the body, on the emotional component, on the mental, on the social, on the behavior. All those areas are affected. Right? Can you start with the physical?
Because I when you said that, I automatically thought of stress pimples or stress acne.
Definitely.
Or insomnia from stress.
Definitely.
Or loss of appetite or gain.
Definitely.
Or weight gain.
Definitely.
Those are all things that come from stress.
Definitely.
Constant sleeping. I think it's very easy to confuse stress and depression. Tell me something. Can stress lead to depression?
Stress can lead to depression.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, And the stress, actually severe stress, can even lead, to psychosis. You can lose your mind with severe stress. It affects all the different systems of the body. BP starts going up.
Yes.
Diabetes starts getting out of control. If you have with eczema, starts getting out of control. Asthmatic attacks. Not only that, start having, ulcers.
So can we say that all your underlying health conditions are affected more or come out more when you're stressed?
Definitely. Because, Amanda, there's a link, I don't know how God created us, a link between stress response mechanisms and our immune system. You get a lot of stress on you, your immune system goes down. So if I understand, people now they start having recurrent flu. Because you've got severe stress, TB, which was underlying Latin in the body, can flare up, you know.
Even
The herpes
migraines.
Migraine headaches. The herpes zoster, no. And it has been shown that because of high stress levels, cancers as well, different cancers manifest, you know, in the body.
How do we manage it? Okay, before we even get to how to manage it, when I was reading the content that you gave me about stress, you spoke about bad stress. Talk to me a bit more about good stress and bad stress.
Okay, yeah. Stress has got two sides actually. The eustress, okay, no, you know, and the good stress, you know. Yeah. You find that, you know, Amanda, we all need a bit of some stress in life.
Okay.
A bit of some, you know, adrenaline.
Okay.
You are driving the streets of Harare these days, you know, you need a bit of some adrenaline, not, you know. Good stress comes with events that are good pleasing. Like saying, okay, when you were preparing your wedding,
Yes.
how was it like, you know?
It was fun, but it was also stressful.
That's good stress.
Okay.
That's good stress.
Alright.
You see? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stress. It makes it's an event which is not joyful, which is happy, exciting, but it produces all kind of stress.
Okay.
And we're saying for all of us actually to perform well, actually, you're preparing for examination, you need a bit of some stress to push you, to motivate you and everything. That's good stress. Bad stress now is coming when there are overwhelming events like the way COVID came in, the loss of a job, the loss of income, divorce, separation, you know, children, you know, that are having their challenges, you know, substance abuse of the children, domestic violence in the home, unfaithfulness of the spouse, all those things now that they cause because of bad stress. Bad stress. Like unfaithfulness in marriage, underplayed, you know. I've been doing family therapy for 20 years, and if you know, women, that's one of the greatest stressors to women, actually, you know, because it comes with multiple losses to them. You are losing your womanhood, your sense of self, your identity. You start, you know, now when a woman comes in, I don't have to think I've got the template in my brain, or I know what they're going through. I can literally tell them that you are feeling like this. I'm not woman enough. You know, it causes lots of stress.
Okay, so good stress is precipitated by good events in your life,
Definitely.
or at least you're stressed about something good that's about to happen. Whereas with bad stress, you can't control it, you can't control what's happening. So you are stressed because of what's happening, you're stressed because you can't control it, and you're stressed because of the effects of what's happening.
Definitely.
Okay.
But if you're not careful again, find good events can end up now with bad, bad stress.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to mix up good stress and bad stress? Like, can a wedding or preparation for a child to go to school, can that lead to bad stress?
It can now, because remember I saying stress about how you are responding to it, you know? How you are reacting to it. You know? If you are now having sleepless nights, worrying over, so what am I going to do about this? This boy is going to go back to school. I don't have the money. It's now
Bad stress.
bad stress. You are preparing for a wedding now. So, I need something to be putting on that is good, but my funds are like this, so what do people think about me? Social phobia, it's a major source of, you know, it's supposed to be a good event, but the way you start thinking about it, you know.
Makes it bad.
Yeah. Remember, mental health is about the positive and negative, the good and
And the bad.
bad, health and health, you know, thinking, man. It's about how we are thinking about it. And how it ends up making us feel. Then it affects the physiology of our bodies, and how we end up behaving.
Okay. I hear you. So we've introduced stress. I see we have quickly run out of time. We've introduced stress. We've wrapped up depression. In our next episode, we want to start talking about the management of stress and the demographics of stress. So I'll just hang on tight. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us today as we were wrapping up depression and starting on stress. We hope to see you again next time. Please do not forget, should you have any questions, should you have any feedback, should you want us to discuss or go more into something that we've talked about but you feel we didn't really hit it the way that you want, please just say something in the comment section below and we will try our best to get to it. See you next time and goodbye.
Hululu Elisha Sizohlala Singaba Sohlabele Kululake Elisha Liyamos Sayjezu Awungiyabuza Sizovuma kanjani lengoma Songena la Songena la Songena la Sizovuma kanjani lengoma Sitobage Masingena la Amazulu Sonyatela Nikolide Sohlala Nabangwele Kuze Naparate Lalela wena Buya kona Kolela Guyo je Wahlale guya Awuhlanze izono Vumela umoya wakhe Akhokelela wena Awunjalo qina wena Qina wena Ulalele Vumela umoya wakhe Awuvumela umoya wakhe Awunjalo qina Ulalele izwi lakhe Sizoyivuma kanjani lengoma cha Sizoyivuma kanjani lengoma cha Situphake Awuthina sizovuma kanjani lengoma cha Bangobi tenga, bangobi sono, bangobi Sizoyivuma kanjani lengoma cha Situphake Masingena la Amazulu Sonyatela Nikolide Sohlala Nabangwele Kuze Naparate Sizoyivuma lengoma Ekhaya Yesu Emazulu Ukhona Mayatuza Bayazutumi Ekhaya labazele Sotoza Emma Jesu sohlabela situphakeme Jesu situphakeme Jesu situphakeme Jesu situphakeme Jesu.
And yes, we do get a lot of fellowship, and apart from fellowship, we have ministers that are actually assisting us with a lot of counseling, for marriage counseling, from child to child relationship, and also about career development, business development, and how one can actually have a self-esteem in conducting himself from being a young person, all levels.
Hlukuluzwe emhlabeni sizojabula khona ekhaya kepha bayothokoza abafele ezandleni zenkosi sebebona izimangaliso bayothokoza nayo sindisi. If we never meet again this side of heaven, as we struggle through this world and its strife, there's another meeting place somewhere in heaven, by the side of the river of life.
Oh, they say we shall meet by the river, when no storm clouds ever darkening the sky. And they say we'll be happy in heaven. Oh, that wonderful, wonderful, sweet by and
There's a promised land untouched by men, prepared for the saved and the blessed. A city built for square, far away somewhere, as a home for the saints to rest. So many have tried, but they couldn't describe all the beauties on that bright shore. For it's never entered into the hearts of men what the Father has in store. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and never get a story told of the jasper walls and the gates of pearls and the streets made of pure gold. Even John the Revelator in the heavenly vision could never really say what he saw. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and still I could never tell it all. From the throne there springs a glimmering stream of waters pure and sweet, and it flows by the tree of life on its way to the crystal sea. And the precious stones that the walls rest on are of 12 different kinds. Oh, and the night will cease, for the Prince of Peace is the light that forever shines. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and never get a story told of the jasper walls and the gates of pearl and the streets made of pure gold. Even John the Revelator in the heavenly vision could never really say what he saw. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and still I could never tell it all. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and never get a story told of the Jasper walls and the gates of pearl and the streets made of pure gold. Even John the Revelator in the heavenly vision could never really say what he saw. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and still I could never tell it all. Even John the Revelator in the heavenly vision could never really say what he saw. I could sing about heaven for 1,000,000 years and still I could never tell it all.
Akutanga mwari akasika denga nenyika nezvese zviri mairi pamazuva matanhatu nemusi wechinomwe akazorora nekuriropafadza zuva resabata akati rangarira sabata urichengeteriri jene musi wechinomwe isabata musi wechinomwe isabata amazuva matanhatu bata mabasa ako nemusi wechinomwe zorora iwe nevana vako varanda vako nemweni wako zvifuyo zvako nezvese zvako ngazvizorore rangarira sabata urichengeteriri jene musi wechinomwe isabata musi wechinomwe isabata ngariere sabata musi wechinomwe isabata. Dreaming of a city far beyond the sky, when the suffering's over, get my wings and fly. When Jesus says it's over, oh, what joy that will be when it's no more dreaming. I'll be home at last. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky. Oh, sometimes I lose direction. Satan clouds my mind, but Jesus stands to remind me that I'm a passing through. Instead of losing heaven, I must look to the day when it's no more dreaming. I'll be home at last. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky.
All of my troubles will be over. There's just a little while to go. In the sky, yeah, in the sky. Oh, all of my troubles they'll be over. I will see heaven in the sky. In the sky. Going home, yeah. They'll be over. Just a little while. I'll see heaven. In that city.
Home right in the sky.